Emily Fisher. If you had to guess, how many hours a day would you say the average teenager spends consuming media? In a study done in 2010 by the Kaiser Family Foundation, children ages 8 to 18 years old on average are exposed to almost 11 hours of media per day, with only 6% of that media being printed media. Since we are a multitasking generation, that 11 hours separates media that is consumed simultaneously. Having been in that age group during the time of the study, I am now able to see the effects of the wasted time had on me. I am now more aware of the time I spend consuming media. The media has a negative effect on the sexual purity of the upcoming generation, and we as a country should be more concerned about what we allow in the media regarding sexual purity, and be willing to stand by God's values on the matter. I will prove the thesis by discussing the fact that no matter the millennium generation has more accessibility to technology, which causes the media to have more of an influence on them. Then we will examine how the media utterly distorts the view of sexuality compared to how God views it. And lastly, we will look at how we can make a change in our mindset about the way media portrays sexual purity. The millennium generation has more accessibility to technology than any generation. They have more access to the media, and therefore the media has a greater influence on them. A study done by Shannon Etheridge involving a 12-minute video clip of the television shows Friends and Seinfeld demonstrate that after repeated exposure to sexual innuendos, the group of youth became unaware of their presence. Etheridge asked the youth to make a sign to her when they heard a sexual innuendo, which they completed well during the beginning of the video, but soon they began to be distracted by the humor of the clip, and they forgot to give her the sign. After the clip, Etheridge asked the audience how many sexual innuendos they counted. The average response was 11 to 12. The actual count was 41. Another example of the media affecting us is in the style of clothes. Magazines, movies, and television all promote certain styles, and the people who view the media where fashion is involved are then influenced by what they see. The media utterly distorts our view of sexuality compared to how God sees it. God's view of marriage is one example of the differing views on sexual purity. In Matthew 19:9, Jesus said, "And I say to you, whoever divorces his wife except for immorality and marries another woman commits adultery." In our culture today, it is acceptable to divorce for any reason, from lack of love to smelly socks. In television and movies, divorce is often a part of the storyline, but the more divorce is in the media, the more we grow accustomed to it. Another example of how media distorts our view is by the pictures in magazines and on the internet. The pictures of models in magazines are put on the computer and then pulled into a program like Photoshop, and then pixel by pixel, it's retouched, redesigned, recreated to appear to look perfect. The worst thing is that women and girls are made to feel like they should look like that, even though what they are trying to look like is not real at all. We as a nation need to be more concerned about what we allow in the media regarding sexual purity, and be willing to take a stand on God's view instead of following the world's view. Monitoring what children watch on television and movies can help guard them from getting a skewed view of what purity looks like. Children are especially vulnerable because what they see at a young age can affect them for the rest of their lives. Another way we can stand on God's view is by desiring the same things that martyr Jim Elliot prayed when he asked, "Father, make of me a crisis man. Bring those I contact to decision, and let me not be a milepost on a single road, but let me be a fork, that men must turn one way or another on facing Christ in me." We should be so sold out for Christ that people around us cannot help but acknowledging Christ after meeting us. After learning about the millennium generation and how it has more access to technology, making media a greater influence on them, the fact that media utterly distorts our view of sexuality compared to how God sees it, You should be ready to stand on God's views about sexual purity by being more concerned about what we allow in the media. The media today gives the upcoming generation a distorted view of sexual purity. As a country, we need to be more concerned about the things we allow in the media regarding sexual purity. And ultimately, we need to be ready to take a stand against the view the world has on sexual purity by viewing it the way God would. I would like to leave you with a challenge to be more aware about what you are consuming in the media and how it is or will affect you, whether positively or negatively. Thank you.